Theming events, how to design purpose-driven events. Theming an event is how you establish the energy, mood, and emotion your guests will feel and enjoy. Theming or styling an event is achieved through location, decor, props, lighting, music, food, and beverage. Though you might not carry one of these themes heavily throughout an entire conference, business meeting, or trade show, they are all suitable for cocktail parties, fundraisers, gala events, icebreaker receptions, and networking opportunities at business events. How you theme an event is based entirely on the vision of the event, which you established in video presentation number 4, Visions, Goals, and Objectives in Event Planning. Let's quickly recap the elements that make up the vision of an event. They include the overarching goal, any number of sub-goals, who the attendees are, whether the event is benevolent, for-profit, or public and press relations focused, what information needs to be imparted and how that will be done, what type of destination is best suited for the purpose of the event, when the event will take place, what are the attendees' expectations and how can you motivate their attendance, what is your budget, do you need networking opportunities or multiple venues, what are your environmental and green considerations for the event. As you developed your vision, you asked and answered all of these questions. Your vision for the event dictates the theme of the event. Let's look at a number of theme possibilities and what types of events they are best suited for. Note that we'll use the terms theme and theming and style or styling interchangeably. The beach theme can be used for almost any type of festivity. It is, for the most part, a party-styled theme. Cheerful, relaxing, fun, casual. It can also be dressed up and made more formal for a ceremony or reception. Beach themes can be implemented indoors or out and feature the cool colors of sand and aqua surf or hot tropical fashion colors. These themes are characterized by rattan furniture, palm trees, tropical birds and flowers, beach umbrellas, music from the likes of Jimmy Buffett, tropical drinks, and seafood. In this image, the planner used randomly placed white holiday lights to give the room the ambiance of a starry night sky. Underlighting a blue-green drape nicely evokes a waterfront. Defining a casual theme is somewhat subjective. However, this event style implies that the attendees and guests do not have to dress in business attire or formally, and the atmosphere will be relaxed. Casual styling is great for clinics, workshops, intensives, and other business events where the participants might even get a bit dirty. It is also well suited to any type of outdoor events and events with a young theme, a convening of video game designers, for example. The degree of casual dress can always be specified in the invitation, and casual styling can be a great budget saver. Folks who are told they can wear jeans and t-shirts throughout a convention, for example, are not expecting crystal dinner services and elegant floral displays. They are likely to expect beer and wine with appetizers at cocktail parties and burgers on the dinner menu. A classically themed event can go in any of two directions, Greco-Roman or Mad Men. The term classic, when applied to event planning, is a bit nebulous. It essentially implies hankering back to a time when a way of doing things became iconic. For business events, think 1940s through 1960s, suit and tie, just the basics of design and decor for the event, with stand-up cocktail receptions and moderately priced but good quality sit-down dinners. This classic style is about getting business done without much pomp and fuss. On the other hand, consider styling a special or social event based on Roman gladiators, Greek columns and sapphire and white fabrics, flowers and lighting. Togas may be appropriate, but probably not for business events. Best suited for private parties, belly dancers for entertainment, Greek food, retsina, ouzo, and music nicely round out this event style. There are two types of country themes as well, country and western and country living. The former is almost always characterized by a barbecue, but may also be more formal, black tie and boots, for example. What is always present at country and western style events is country music. In some industries, rodeo for example, a business meeting would likely be attended by people who are most comfortable in their western boots and two-stepping to country music in the evenings. For special and social events, almost everyone enjoys donning western wear and kicking up their heels to country rock. The country living style theme is equally desirable for casual weddings, showers, and reunions, as it is for home and garden trade shows and parenting and public lands management conventions. Styling for this type of event begs for meadow flower arrangements, simplified food and beverage services featuring fresh, locally grown delicacies, and background music such as Tchaikovsky's Four Seasons. Cultural events typically focus on single nation or culture or bringing nations and cultures together. Although the business portion of a cultural event might be fairly standard meeting planning, the design and entertainment styling for a cultural event is almost always colorful, tasty, somewhat exotic, and tremendous fun to coordinate. Tahanta.com, a site that embraces and promotes global cultural diversity, lists an annual calendar of cultural events worldwide, which include Art Dubai, the Ocean Sciences Meeting in Oregon, the New Zealand International Arts Festival, Italy's Global Education Festival, Ireland's Festival of World Cultures, and Berlin's A World Without Walls, among dozens of others. Although your cultural event may not be as large in scope as these, and it may not be in another country, you can look to such events for theming inspiration. All it takes is research. You need to know about the art, cultural preferences, colors, foods, beverages, music, and passions of the cultures you host. Then incorporate them in equal measure into multi-themed decor and events, or a number of events, each with a strong and well-developed cultural theme. Elegance is a mood and spirit more than a style. In theming events, choose an era of elegance that best suits your event vision. If the event is appropriate for historical styling, look to the foods, fashion, and decor of the Renaissance, Elizabethan, Baroque, Georgian, Regency, Victorian, and Edwardian eras. If the vision dictates theming based on near history elegance in North America, look to the Victorian, La Belle Epoque, Art Nouveau, and Roaring Twenties eras, as well as 23 years of Hollywood leading up to the 1970s. Keep in mind that a Great Gatsby theme, for example, will require quite a bit of research, and the authenticity of your final production will be challenging. Period food, fashion, and transportation won't be easy to acquire and will be pricey. That said, there's no reason not to play the music of the time and decorate to just that theme. Even if it's impractical or even silly to ask guests to dress from the era, they'll enjoy being transported back to it. Formal events are almost always standalone evening events or afternoon weddings, or the culmination festivity of a larger event. By definition, tuxedos and ball gowns are required. Formal affairs are never inexpensive and are usually elegant. When you are designing a formal affair, think crystal chandeliers, impossibly large and glorious flower arrangements, champagne, waltzing on marble floors, canapes, one wait staff for every 4 to 6 people, powder room attendants, valet parking, and a full 15-plus place setting for each attendee. You'll need at least a string quartet, reception line, and a master of ceremonies. Reviewing periods from the elegance theme category or the modern style is a good place to start for formal affair ideas. Fun events can be anything that strikes a person's fancy and can be used equally for business meetings and entertainment at fundraisers, rallies, trade shows, and conventions. Types of fun themes include Mardi Gras, Fiesta, Top Gun, Indiana Jones Adventure, Orient Express, Phantom of the Opera, etc. As shown in this graphic, event giant card gambling themes are crowd pleasers. Although many business affairs are seriously about business during the working hours, integrate fun-themed after-hours events into your agenda to give your attendees a break from work and a great icebreaker for socializing and networking. If you're holding a business event during the holidays, it is a great idea to decorate the meeting, conference, and trade show venues accordingly. Always keep in mind that many holidays have religious significance. Unless your attendee base is solidly of one religion during a festive period, make sure to integrate a neutral holiday decor. For example, during the September holidays, use lights and greenery, candles and white flowers instead of Christmas trees. For a spring event, don't focus on anything like the Easter Bunny. Instead, use spring flowers, tulips, daffodils, and greenery in floral displays, and bright spring colors in fabrics and lighting. If you have catered lunches during a holiday event, consider having the caterer serve a variety of seasonal food samplings from around the world. Intimate after-hours get-togethers at business events can be great stress relievers. For example, if the theme of the daily agenda is fairly intense and intensive, your attendees will be ready to relax in a quiet, tasteful setting at the end of the day. Lighting and small groupings of people are the two easiest ways to achieve an intimate setting. Lower the lights, play soft classical music, and decorate the tables in such a way that a table of 8 is divided into 2 sets of 4 by a high center arrangement. Intimate settings are, of course, appropriate for some ceremonies, a small engagement party, for example, but they are also well suited for day-end decompressing at almost any business event. Ultra-modern design and decor for conferences and meetings can really focus attendees. If your client is in the technology business, use event space that has very clean and contemporary furniture and decor, and make sure all the audio-visual technology is state-of-the-art. A modern space should have clean lines and a carefully chosen number of colors. This conference room achieves this well with a broad black and white striping and shocking green floor. After-hours affairs in following a modern theme may be held in an all-glass room lit with column lighting and featuring glass-top tables without linens and metal-framed chairs in chrome or vibrant colors. Modern food and beverages might feature all vegetarian delicacies of sushi and sake. Some types of event are better suited to outdoor venues than others. It's easier, for example, to hold a trade show indoors where utilities are readily accessible and inclement weather isn't an issue. That said, boat shows typically have trade and consumer goods and service booths around the in-the-water venues, and outdoor weddings have always been a favorite style. Outdoor isn't so much a style or theme as it is a location. The first rule of thumb in planning an outdoor event is to make sure you have ample shelter, tents for example, for presenters, attendees, and features, that power and heat of cooling systems are on site, and that sanitary facilities are ample. Once the mechanics of an outdoor themed event are all in place, the decor can be any style at all. Remember that outdoor events aren't worth the additional challenges if the outdoors isn't used and enjoyed. Few business events lead themselves to romantic theming unless the products or services represented are romance history related. Lingerie, champagne, romantic novels, for example. In fact, it might be considered irresponsible to foster romance at a business conference, as it might take attendees' minds off the business at hand. If, however, the setting is suitable for a romantic theme, red is an easily identifiable romance color. Candlelight and chocolate must be part of the setting. Champagne can be served, and hearts and roses are good design elements. A romantic setting can also mirror an intimate setting theme. Minus the hearts and candles, after-hours events that take place in a fine restaurant discreetly lit represent a mature version of a romance theme. Sports themes can be very effective for tribute social events and sports industry conferences and trade shows. If your planning budget allows, consider decorating meeting and social venues with sports items that the attendees can also take away as gifts at the end of the event. Sports themes can also be done fairly inexpensively. People expect hot dogs and beer when networking at a sports-themed event, and, as shown in this image, inexpensive balloon art can be used to set the scene. Creative Impact Group lists 93 event themes their clients like. These themed event styles include the 1950s, MASH, Speakeasy, Futuristic, White on White, Gilligan's Island Shipwreck Party, Murder Mystery, Jurassic Park, Carnival, Casablanca, Wild Wild West, and dozens more. For a bit of fun at a fundraiser, set up a speakeasy-styled event and ask guests to dress in the 1920s period, or recreate Hawkeye's Swamp for a MASH-themed icebreaker on the opening night of a military memorabilia consumer show or conference. Research the style a bit to determine what the favorite beverages of the period were and what music played on the radio. The key to proper theming of an event is give serious consideration to the goals of the event and the demographics of the attendees. The MASH theme, for example, would also be very appropriate for a conference of emergency room surgeons. Also consider whether attendees would be at all inclined to dress for a period-themed event, or if you should just decorate to the theme and let them have fun stepping out of the daily grind and into another time. Be creative and mindful of your budget, and you'll be very successful at creating memorable themed events.